What's up, you guys? Sean Rossat, managing editor of FightfulWrestling.com. Fightful.com. It has been a busy weekend. AAA happened tonight. We had Bloodsport last night, UFC Vancouver last night. There's this big cast situation, which we're going to talk about briefly before we get into Clash of Champions. And then there is Clash of Champions. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up and subscribe to this video. If you want to support us directly, we have a premium service, FightfulSelect.com. It is undergoing a lot of very cool changes, a lot of good info over there. I have some exclusive info that I just posted today, several bits actually. Go show us some love. It's how we afford guys like Alex and Denise Salcedo and Warren Hayes and people like that that are on these podcasts. But without further ado, I am joined by Alex, who is relieved hereby of Raw duties, but I don't know, I feel like he got some Raw duty tonight.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, honestly, we will have no idea where any of this is going until after Hell in a Cell and the draft.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of questions coming out of this as to how they build to a pay-per-view that's supposed to be as momentous as Hell in a Cell.
And we're
in
talking
like
about
3 weeks.
We're talking about right out of the gate. Imagine my surprise as I'm watching the Cincinnati Bengals get just Cedric Alexandered by the 49ers. They got jobbed out today. And Tom Brenneman's like, hey, by the way, there is a draft on October 11th. And I'm, what? What? Meanwhile, the other commentator keeps on challenging Tatanka and then clotheslined Tom Brenneman. And the thing is, he has legit met Tatanka before. Just an interesting anecdote, not that important. I reached out to WWE. They shortly issued a press release, or they issued one shortly after that. October 11th and 14th. I did think it was kind of cool. They let their football thing announce it. These ads are all over the place, Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, they are pushing this hard. Hard.
Yeah. I didn't see this because I wasn't watching it, but I heard via Twitter that one of the guys, I guess Chris Myers doing the Vikings game, like did the read for, SmackDown coming to Fox, and like, by the way, did you know Vikings coach Mike Zimmer used to coach high school wrestling? It was like trying to somehow get it back to real sports, because Chris Myers is probably thinking to myself, what am I doing ad reads for fake wrestling? Yeah, that's the main reasons to me. I feel like they said, hey, Fox sounds like a great place to go, because you have the built-in audience that you would think would be a crossover between football, maybe the baseball playoffs, like stuff like that Fox has, and it's always out there, always doing their little thing on the bottom where they say, hey, look down here at this ad for the thing that's coming up this next week.
They announced the draft. This is great news. It gives me a few weeks to not bitch about everybody being on every show, so the wild card rule can get thrown out the window. I don't care about it right now. This is their chance to reset.
This is great, and the thing is that now it's a mad dash. Like, I would think whoever has the title on one brand is on that brand. So the Revival are still Raw guys. They just hang out with a SmackDown guy and beat up SmackDown guys. But they're still on Raw. But now they have the SmackDown titles, which we'll talk about in a second. So now you would think, like, if whoever's, like, it's basically musical chairs, but with a title belt. Whoever's holding the title belt when the music stops on October 11th, that's your new home. So, I would think that's how they're going to play it.
Yeah, objectively good news. And we will do some sort of mock draft video for this. In 2016, when we launched Fightful and Vince Russo was with us, myself and Vince did a mock draft, and we put together WrestleMania cards, and I blew him out of the water.
Of course.
Wasn't even close. But we'll do another one. Reminder, guys, if you want your statement or question read on the air, donate a super chat, any amount. If you head over to FightfulSelect.com and subscribe, I do a Q&A every couple of weeks, and you can ask as many questions as you want. That is up right now for Fightful Select subscribers. 40 minutes long of just a mailbag, and there's a chance I'm going to be stepping those up very, very soon. If you donate one of these super chats, statement or question, not shout outs or ads, you got to pay more for an actual ad read on here. But Alex, you mentioned it. Chris Myers on that NFL show saying, here I am doing a read for Fake Wrestling. What am I doing? His job. That's what he's doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know
saying.
that he said that out loud.
Sure, but that's how all these guys are doing it.
Especially now, as we get into, like, I mean, football, I feel like these guys, like, realize they're watching gladiators, you know.
Yes.
So that's fine. I can't wait for the stuffed shirts who do baseball broadcasts on Fox, like Fox postings, and be like, next Friday, watch the Superstars of SmackDown coming to you live from the Nassau Coliseum. Like, just how disinterested they're going to be in having to do those ad reads, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, I'm glad to see them getting the push they deserve with this, quote-unquote, that the money indicates they deserve. Also, there was a situation with Big Cass. My God, I've got some more info on this up at FightfulSelect.com. It was a mess, and Alex, based on what you know, what do you think about this?
Well, fill me in more of the details, because I was able to, I saw some of the headline, clicked on it, and then, of course, you know, dad stuff got in the way. I didn't follow up on it, so please fill me in on the details.
Cass was at a WrestlePro show, which was Pat Buck, the booker and head trainer at WrestlePro, his last indie show, because he's a WWE producer now. Cass was there and started to threaten Joey Janela. Now, there are some people that I've spoken to in WWE, they heard, oh, well, Janela was talking trash about him and all that. Nobody I've talked to at WrestlePro says that. Cass then threatened to either shoot or kill Joey Janela. And Dan Maff, who was known as a very mild-mannered guy, professional guy, was like, hey, cut the shit. And Cass would then accuse the locker room of stealing a sweater of his. Now, I got to the point where people at WrestlePro told me they had to put people by the door to make sure he didn't do a legit run-in on, like, Janela's match. And Cass was supposed to be a surprise, but he kept running back and forth out to his car, is what I'm told. Then he ends up in a room with SCU, the AEW tag team, and Pat Buck. And Pat Buck's like, hey, man, you need to calm down. Now, all this is allegedly, all that good stuff. Cass says, what are you going to do about it? And allegedly spits in his face, which results in Pat Buck, about 5'9", dropping Cass with a punch, holding him in top control until police escorted him out. Joey Janela was asked if he wanted to press charges for the threats. He said no, that guy needs some help. And they ended up taking him to a hospital, is what I hear. Not good. And I did reach out to Joey Janela, and he was like, all I can say is I hope he gets some help. And him and Enzo were completely fine the night before. I was in the same locker room with him.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough thing. I know that Cass came out and talked a lot about his depression and stuff like that, and dealing with that, and you know, when you combine, you know, that kind of stuff with a temper, and just things can get out of hand. I don't want to like make any assumptions, but if any way substance abuse is also added into that mix, that could be just like a toxic stew that you add like nitroglycerin to, and like just wait for it to explode. And I'm very happy that he didn't shoot or kill anyone. And yeah, I mean, it's a really tough thing. I don't want to come out too hard against it, because I know that he's been dealing with real legitimate stuff, but you cannot handle it this way. This is not the way to handle whatever it is that you're doing.
He single-handedly, allegedly threatened to kill an AEW superstar, then got punched by a WWE producer.
No.
ROH isn't in the cards right now.
No.
I hope things get better for Cass on a personal level.
Yeah.
That's all we got. Eloquent sends a super chat and says, "Did you see the Sasha Banks Chronicle doc?" I did. It was very good, and it hit home. I'll tell you that much. Sasha Banks dealing with detractors and stuff like that. I'm glad she put that out there. People think that they can just say whatever they want online and it doesn't affect anybody. It affects these people. Also, Joseph Farley says, "Imagining Joe Buck reading a WWE ad read makes me want to actually see him call a game." Oh, man. That is great. That is great. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. WWE Clash of Champions, this Cruiserweight title match. Alex, this is not what I expected.
No, it was weird. The stuff that I saw, but it looked like Humberto and Lindsay for a bit were going through the motions. Like, okay, so tonight when we have our actual match, I'm going to do this, and then you do that, and then you do this. Really good. Okay, so when we have the actual match, well, oh wait, this is the actual match. Oh crap. We've been going half speed for about 2 minutes. So I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like 205 Live is in an odd place as far as like Gulak's great. Like Gulak's awesome. You and I have talked about this. If you folded in 205 Live superstars into NXT, the top ones would absolutely rise to the top of NXT, the very best, and the rest of them would settle down. And I think Humberto Carrillo can be a lot of fun to watch in ring. Lindsay too, but I don't know if this is the spot for them just yet. Gulak's been nothing but a total professional and a wrecking ball as champ, and this just didn't feel like a normal cruiserweight thing on the pre-show to me.
I would argue that this is by far the worst match on the show, especially from execution.
And that rarely happens with the cruiserweights.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen in a cruiser since this division started. I don't think I've ever seen that. Humberto Carrillo seemed like he hit the ropes at half speed. Lindsay didn't seem like he was doing it half speed. It did look like Gulak bit his tongue. Gulak was great here, all things considered. Carrillo just was not connecting for me. Maybe in the future, but there were a lot of unnecessary flips. There was a good spot where he dove onto an electric chair over the top rope and took everybody out. But then there was just Lindsay and Humberto in particular. The missile drop kick that missed Lindsay, and Lindsay still sold it. And that was on Lindsay. He's supposed to be there for that. Then there was a slip on the Hurricane Rana attempt. They scored the second time. Then Carrillo doesn't get out of the way of a shooting star press and eats that, then doesn't sell it. Then hits his finish that he missed by a mile, and Gulak comes in and steals the pin. Now here's the issue with stealing the pin. Dorado's shoulders aren't down, and in that situation, if you're Dorado, you got to get your shoulder down unless you want him to legit pin you. And he legit does. When the ref says, shoulder's not down, you see him put his own shoulder down.
Yeah.
This is a rare thing. Like, if you see my match ratings, a rare cruiserweight match that falls below 4. This hit 3 territory for me because of all the missed spots, selling missed spots, and then that where a guy beat himself. This was real bad. Yeah, this was not it, man. It's too bad because Lindsay and Humberto have been having bangers on the 205 Live regular show. This was not a banger. This was mash. That's what that was. The opposite of banger is mash. That's what that is. It was duty. Gulak wins. This was bad. Justin Lopez says, don't forget the Fox personalities being involved with the draft as well. Oh, I can't wait for
my God, yes.
Terry Bradshaw to draft Brock to SmackDown. I want to see Stewie Griffin versus Todd Grizzly.
I was gonna say Homer Simpson needs to get in there and make a draft pick. Because that's how old I am, and that's the only thing I know that's on Fox. Yeah. No, this is going to be great. I really want them to be using the people from their pilots, it's the brand new show starring this guy who you remember from that show 3 years ago. It's going to be a big hit, and it's off the air in 4 weeks. And then we go back and rewatch this episode of the draft episode 10 years from now. How did this guy wind up over here? And you walk back and who the hell is this? If you go back and watch old Raws from like 1994, they have all these crossover people from USA Network, and you're like, who?
Mario Lopez from Pacific Blue, we need him. But I would love for The Miz and Maurice to come out and announce that The Miz has been drafted to a certain brand because he's on Miz and Mrs.
Yes. My favorite thing of the Raw stuff was when they had Shatner come out, like 94, and beat up Jerry Lawler. And there was like, because his show that was on USA at the time was called Tech War. T-E-K War. Tech War. They don't make any mention of the fact that he's, Captain Kirk or even T.J. Hooker. They're like, they have William Shatner of Tech War will be here.
This is when I wish that Spike TV were still around so we could have like Ren and Stimpy and Stripperella and Stan Shakes Fletcher from Slam Ball. How about Guy LaDouche from MXC?
Yes, bring back MXC.
I was going to do a long form and interview all those people when Spike went over to Paramount, but it didn't work out. But, if we see Todd Crisley on Raw, that'll be a problem for me. I don't want it. Don't want it. Aaron Jace fan says the Fox NFL panel will do predictions for WWE pay-per-views. I hope they do.
That'd be good.
We need more cowbell says, what did you think of the spotlight during the wrestler introductions? And Braun shouldn't be losing to Seth Rollins. I love the spotlights, Alex. I thought it was different.
Yeah, spotlights are good. Like that a lot. It's a really cool way. It has a real fight feel. You know what I mean? Like I like that a lot.
Speaking of real fight feel, some of these matches were downright short, including AJ Styles defeating Cedric Alexander. Alexander hits a nice Michinoku driver, a tope con hilo, and a handspring kick. But Styles comes back, does a Styles clash, hits a phenomenal forearm inside the ring, and ends up pinning him with another Styles clash. This was a really good sprint, and it was a sprint. And I could think of far worse things than Cedric Alexander having a back-and-forth quick match with one of the best wrestlers in the last 20 years, period. But I get the feeling you don't like this, Alex.
No, I mean, it's not that. I mean, I'm more upset about the match placement. Like, this was one of the matches, like, based on pure in-ring ability that I was looking forward to the most. And they're like, here you go. It's at the end of the pre-show, and we ran long while doing our backstage interviews, so you guys now have 2 less minutes than you thought you did. Go ahead and go. And it did feel like I loved how fast it started. I thought the finish was good. The Styles Clash on the outside, Phenomenal Forum inside, Styles Clash, like it took a lot to put away Alexander, but it did seem like it was like Styles got a hold of it and ended it way too fast. I feel like that was part of what might have been pulled out because it did feel like, as I said, it was a good sprint, but it could have been a better and less of a sprint with a couple more minutes. I don't love that Cedric Alexander is losing like this, but I didn't think he was going to win this match anyway.
Yeah.
I
love how it started. I did love
that. I did love how it started too, and it showed that Alexander wanted to get this thing done now.
And I'm okay with these. There were a couple real short matches. I'm okay with that. We need that element of unpredictability.
Yes.
That way we're not sitting around waiting for the 8 to 10 minute mark for a match to end. That's one of my criticisms of AEW is like they'll tell us at these post-show scrums, oh, well, we're not going to have these 5-minute matches. Well, why not? If this is an element of real sports, then yeah, you would. Justin Gaethje beat Donald Cerrone in 4 minutes the other day. It happens. Sometimes it happens. The OC beat Cedric's ass. Nobody helped Cedric.
No, I was kind of hoping for like a Mustafa Ali run-in. Since he's not doing anything on SmackDown, maybe he winds up on the same place as Cedric does, and like they're old friends. I don't know, anything to make it not look like Cedric is like, well, yeah, hey, remember how you saved Roman Reigns' butt by putting on a janitor costume and a mask? Is Roman your friend? No? He doesn't reciprocate? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's bad. I don't love when you get a 3-on-1 beatdown against the babyface, and he just has to take it. And that's it. Meh.
So, Roode and Ziggler, new tag team champions, defeated Braun, Strowman, and
as we knew they would be going into this.
So here's the thing. My favorite quote about this is, "Wow, these guys have only been teammates for a month." What were Rollins and Strowman?
They became champs the night they became a tag team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what took Roode and Ziggler so long, man?
Yeah. I loved Corey Graves before this, looking straight in the camera and saying, well, why do Rollins and Strowman want to go through the trouble of being champions? Because it's more money, it's more exposure, it's a better quality of life. Thank you, Corey Graves. That is in the lexicon now. It is out there.
Yep.
It is a reason. That's why you want to become champion. That's why everybody's chasing that 24/7 title, because it's about money. It's the same reason why people want to wrestle twice in one night, to be tag champions. It's more money. It's more exposure. I love it. This was pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Rollins and Strowman have some nice double team offense. Ziggler DDT Seth on the floor. I loved when Rollins turned that second attempt into a Falcon Arrow. Big fan of that. Some great tag team action. Bobby Roode is just amazing as a tag team wrestler. It's almost like he was meant to be a tag wrestler. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. I mean, it's I try to figure out, like, there's guys who tag wrestlers first and then break out and they decide be like, oh, I'm going to do this too. And I mean, I feel like he's better as a tag team wrestler. He's certainly I feel like he's much better. And there were parts of his heel run that I enjoyed, but it felt like it was only one note, and that was the problem with that. And then babyface Roode has never worked for me. But yeah, okay, great. I still don't understand why these guys are a tag team. I like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, fine. Whatever. You guys are tag champs now.
I'll tell you why. Because the Revival are on SmackDown for the next few weeks.
Yes, that's true. Why. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Oh, man. But this was pretty solid. Braun gets Rollins on a tackle accidentally. Glorious DDT on Rollins. And Roode gets the win. Roode should be the number one contender for the Universal title, but the Fiend already is. Tamikaze says, wasn't the King of the Ring final supposed to be on here? Did I miss something? Mercifully, they pushed that off till tomorrow night. They figured a 12-match show, 13 if you count the little 24/7 gimmick, was too much. But yeah, I'm glad they moved it to Raw too.
Right. Yeah, I would have liked to have, like, it was promised to be, the finale will be at Clash of Champions. They promised that for a month and then said, whoops, we got too many matches now. It's going to get more time certainly tomorrow than it would have tonight.
Programming note, guys, as you saw, if you subscribe to Fightful Select, Warren's last UK 205 Live NXT show was this week. Steven Jensen will be taking over UK and 205 Live on the Weekender podcast. But starting this Wednesday, and now for every Wednesday in the foreseeable future, post shows for NXT and AEW. Now, this week is just NXT, but we will be here live Wednesday night. Alex, you joining us for that?
I believe so, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, well, I also believe so, and I hope this software works with 3 people, so don't quote me on that. There's a good chance I say, one of you got to get the hell off the stream, because I don't know how to work it yet. I'll get fancy and figure some of this stuff out. But Denise Salcedo joins us on Monday. If you all do not follow her yet, please do. It's going to be a different aspect to have somebody positive on Mondays.
Yeah.
But Alex, you have a segment called Sour Graps coming to Fightful Select. I am stoked for that. I had mentioned this a few times. Me and Jimmy actually were like plotting amongst ourselves, like, hey, let's have Alex do this. I think that's pretty cool. So people have that to look out for. Rob Wilkins says, any idea if NXT will be allowed to go over time on Wednesdays? Watched Bloodsport for the first time and loved it. Can I be a YouTube mod? Yes, Rob can. I don't know why he wasn't yet. Bloodsport was great. I did a little review on it up on Fightful last night with the UFC mod. I would say that WWE will be able to go over time the next 2 weeks on NXT, but not moving forward. They have hard outs on all their shows. Up next, Bayley defeated Charlotte, and this was quick. Another sprint. Charlotte nails a boot right away and works over Bayley. Chucks Bayley into the barricade. I'll say this. They fit 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound sack right here, Alex. Yeah. And all things considered, I thought it was really good. Charlotte went at Bayley really, really hard. And then Bayley unties the turnbuckle, smashes Charlotte's face in it, and pins her. Let's talk about the brief action before we talk about the greatest part of probably this entire show. What do you think of the action?
Well, I was gonna say, because you say this was a sprint. I was like,
literally,
yeah, it was a sprint before and after.
Yes.
During, before, and after. That was my favorite part. I just need a gif of that. Like that's got to be a meme of anybody like say like I'm out. That's it. I'm out.
I love
the title and I'm out.
Bayley just darted from the ring. She did not look back. She did not care. She did not listen. She was like, I am not waiting for this replay. I am not waiting for the decision to be reversed. She got interviewed backstage, and she was like, yeah, I did what I had to do. I beat Charlotte. I got to go watch my best friend's match. If Charlotte says or looks for me, you didn't see me. Bye. Yeah. This was great and different, and I loved it.
Yeah. The match was good. I liked the story they were telling that Charlotte was just overpowering Bayley, and Bayley did something that Charlotte might do. She took a shortcut, and she smashed Charlotte. She got the win, and she got the hell out of Dodge. And my favorite part of all this, even over the sprint, which was hilarious, was Charlotte in the ring afterward, like, well played, Bayley. I'm going to murder you later, but right now, I almost admire you for the way you won this match. Like, because, and that's awesome. That's totally in line with who Charlotte has always been. She was not afraid to take a shortcut. And I love that Bayley learned. Like, Bayley, learned from being the ultimate do-gooder, like Sting 1995, like everybody screws me over, and she's like, well, now that I have kind of a bit of an edge and I'm allowed to use chairs now I'm remembering how everybody else screwed me over, and I'm going to screw them over. But I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, so I run it's like my 2-year-old, when she does something wrong and she runs to the other room because she knows that I'm going to be like, what did you do? That's basically what Bayley was.
This was real good. I enjoyed that. Excited to see what comes up next with these two. Up next, the Revival.
These four. That's the whole thing. The four horsemen. This really needs to plot out over the next couple of months, at least a Survivor Series and beyond.
Revival versus New Day was real good. Dash and Dawson are just amazing in the ring. They become the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I will have some update on their contract status this week on Fightful Select. But since they wanted to leave the company, they have become 3-time tag team champions.
Yes.
Whew. So, first off, what I loved about the match, we hadn't seen Big E and Xavier since they got hurt. That was cool. I dug that.
I liked the pre-show interview. It was started out with just Kofi and Big E, and then Charlie's like, "So what about Xavier? We haven't seen him since he got injured." And the camera pulls back to reveal Xavier, and he does his little motivational comic book hero type speech, which I thought was cool. But I love the switch that they were almost like, "Is he even here?" And I was like, "Oh snap! Are they gonna have Kofi do double duty and have to like defend the tag championships too?" And I'm no, of course not. But still, like there's that cool little element there. And I love how much Xavier's injury from a few weeks ago that he heroically came back from played into the match. Like that was masterful psychology. I loved it.
Loved that. It was really good. Xavier getting the hot tag was a welcome change. There was this great spot where Big E missed the YOLO dive. Then Dash Wilder goes for a suicide dive. You want to talk about urgency? Dash Wilder going for a suicide dive indicates that. They had a shatter machine outside the ring. They do another inside the ring to Xavier. And for some reason, they're more worried about the knee than finishing the match. Now, they got the win, but I love a few things. I love that they ripped off his brace and his tights and all that. And I love that Corey Graves is like, what are they doing? This is dumb. They shouldn't be doing this. They should be going for the pin. But then Dawson gets the win with an inverted figure 4 anyway. They cut a promo at the top of the ramp. They need more mic time. Teams like this need more mic time. And this was always the concern, from what I understand, was that this team wanted WWE to care more about tag teams. Not just them, tag teams.
Yes, absolutely. I got a guy this weekend who was trying to argue with me on Twitter about how Shane McMahon is the best heel in the business.
I used to hear the same thing about Baron Corbin. Best heel in the business. People not wanting to watch you is not the same as people wanting to watch you get beaten.
The Revival are some of the best heels I've ever seen. Like here's the thing. They're because they don't necessarily cheat to win, but they absolutely skirt the edges of what is allowed always. If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Like I love that. That's always been consistent with them. I love that they change up their offense. They come up with brand new cool double team stuff. They always have each other's back. It's like one of them always knows what the other one is doing behind him. Like all that stuff. They're fantastic as a tag team. But I love, as you said, Corey Graves going, why aren't they just going for the pin here? Like they got this thing won. They hit a Shatter Machine on Big E. They just hit a Shatter Machine on Woods. Woods is clearly hurt. Pin him. And I love that one of them was like, no. Let's really hurt him. And the other guy was like, "What? I could just pin him and win him now." And like, no. Let's really hurt him. And here's the deal. Normally, when that's the trope of wrestling is, when the heels do that, they don't win the match.
Yeah. This was a nice slip on their part.
I loved that they did that, and it didn't cost them because they're that cruel. With Dash on the outside, like taunting Woods, like that's real heel stuff. Because also we love Xavier Woods. Yeah. We've been given the opportunity through years and years of him as being the little brother of the New Day, plus his up down stuff, down stuff. If you watch that, to fall in love with Xavier Woods, and the fact that they're torturing that guy.
Yeah,
that's why long-term storytelling can transfer from one team to the next. Because if it's not Xavier Woods, if we don't know who that guy is, if we haven't fallen in love with him as that character,
good point.
That moment doesn't mean as much. And so, and when they started doing all that stuff with the New Day and building up Xavier Woods' character, the Revival weren't even anywhere near the main roster. But the Revival gets to get over by inflicting hurt on a guy that we loved separately from this storyline. It's beautiful. When wrestling does it really, really right, it's beautiful.
There were several things on this show that were, I don't want to say outside the box, they were just common sense and a little bit different that I really enjoyed, that stepped out. Gregory Carter asked, did Bayley win with the turnbuckle smash on her cash-in? I think she won with the Bayley to belly. I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
I really enjoyed Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss against Fire and Desire as well. Backstage, Alexa and Cross are being interviewed, and a boom mic gets dropped in. And it's R-Truth in disguise. Alexa's not happy. She tells everybody that R-Truth is there, even though he's on screen. I thought this was dumb.
Yeah. There was find a way to shoehorn the 24/7 title in there because, some people believe that it's the best thing on TV. And sometimes it is. Well, I guess that's true. It has to be defended in some way. But my thing with R-Truth is him. I want just to mention one time, R-Truth keeps trying not to come, and they say if you don't show up, you'll be fined. Or no, that's not a Blue Chew ad read. He's not to show up to the arena. And if they say if you don't show up, you'll be fined, because if he shows up, he's much more likely to be pinned, and he doesn't want to lose his title. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense for him to be there.
And where you don't want to come, but you got people coming after you all the time for your accolades, if you know what I'm saying, for your preciouses, hit up my friends at BlueChew.com and use that code FIGHTFUL. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. And they work 24/7 whenever you want, buddy. Whenever you want. Blue Chew's ready for you. It's a chewable. Gets in your system faster. And how about this? It gets to you in a more efficient manner because you order online. Doctors will prescribe it online after you fill out a questionnaire, and it ships straight to your door in a discreet package. You don't have to worry about people showing up in disguises to come after your goodies, because the mailman's not going to know what's in the package. But whoever you deliver your package to, sure as hell is going to know. Hit them up at Blue Chew on Twitter. Let them know you heard about them from us. You don't have to sit in line at a pharmacy. It's prescribed online, my friends. BlueChew.com. Code Fightful. You get that first shipment free. Free. Just pay $5 shipping. Tell them. Tweet them right now. Say, damn it, at Blue Chew on Twitter. I heard about you from Sean Ross Sapp. And you know what? I want a hard penis. Here you go. Very concerned how these are going to come off with a woman on the Monday Night Podcast. Hope she has a sense of humor.
I think you have to give her equal time. I don't know if there's some kind of lady business pill that you guys can get an ad read for.
Well, I would love to, honestly. I would love to. Bob Harris said the revival shades of Jean and Ole. Yep, they sure are. Andrew Thomason, not to be confused with Andrew Thompson, says John Cone was on the watch along when Becky hit the ref. They made it into the concession area before the entire room said, "Don't they need you out there?" I dig that. I also dug Cross and Bliss against Fire and Desire. Bliss and Nikki are dominant. Nikki taunted Mandy Rose by mocking her. What do you think about that?
I mean,
Renee Young called it the sexiest moment she's seen on WWE in years.
Yeah, I think she obviously got a little hip swivel lessons from Big E. That was good. This is all fun. They've decided to at the expense of a lot of other, I think, really great possible tag teams for women. They decided to make Bliss and Nikki look really, really great, and I think that's cool. But there's all these other tag teams that can survive a couple of losses to Alexa and Nikki, but can't survive 3 and 4 and 5 losses because we haven't seen them win anything, because the tag title belt was introduced like 7 months ago, and since then, like, they had one champ that had it for like 4 months and never defended it.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to like have all these tag teams that you're trying to build while also keeping the champion of that division totally protected. So it's hard to do both at the same time, and I don't know how that balance is going to shake out.
There's no reason that the Iconics shouldn't be getting some reps in
on
WWE TV, and I don't mean main event. They haven't had a TV match since they lost the titles, and you ain't protecting them. You didn't protect them when they had the titles.
No.
So you're not protecting them. Let them lose to the Kabuki Warriors, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss is trying to become 24/7 champion when R-Truth runs in, and it gets a pop.
Cute.
And I loved it, Alex, for a couple reasons. One, that got your little 24/7 defense out of the way.
Yep.
The crowd popped for it. Crowd loved it. And, as I mentioned from earlier, making things seem more important. Alexa Bliss, it's almost like one of her old tendencies coming back. She's in the middle of a tag team title defense.
Yes.
But she's still kind of greedy, Alex.
Yeah, she wants that gold, man. She wants to be double champ. Strap it both of them. Just strap them.
Love it. So this leads to Sonya and Mandy taking over. Mandy does a delayed vertical suplex. I really dug the Mandy Alexa Bliss double knockout spot. That was very well executed.
Well done.
Alexa gets yanked down off the top ropes hard. A high-low connects, and Nikki stops the pin and does the old au revoir. Shades of another great tag team, La Resistance, Alex. She was channeling Sylvain Grenier.
Yes.
That's her version of The Purge. A fun tag match. What did you think of it?
Again, it's fun. It's like cool moments in there. You have this team of Fire and Desire. They actually have a real tag team now, not just something they call themselves, but now it is Fire and Desire. So you've got them. You've got the Kabuki Warriors. You've got the Iconics. You're trying to build a little tag division. It's at the risk of hot potatoing a title around, like it's probably better that all of your other teams, besides the one with the belts, don't lose constantly if you're trying to build an entire division. I don't know exactly how to do that, but I'm pretty sure like having this young, cool, up-and-coming tag team get a title shot and then lose it after losing a lot of title shots in the past. Like yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would. Nakamura defeated The Miz. Sami Zayn was the story of this match.
Yes. Yep.
He comes out here complaining The Undertaker gave him a neck injury. Gets a great reaction for going at UNC. He does commentary briefly during this match. I love that he called Miz King of Soft Style, but this was just a match that was there. But I'll tell you what, the crowd was there for it. The crowd got into this one. There weren't a lot of matches late on this show that had the crowd like this one did. Nakamura dropped a knee across the back of Miz's head, lands the it kicks. This was very much a playing the hits match. But when Miz applied that figure four, the crowd came unglued because it is North Carolina. Why not?
Yep. Dumb
babyface Miz, after hitting skull-crushing finale, chases Zayn and gets kicked. Kinshasa wins it, but the crowd was the highlight of this match. Well, even a little bit more so than Sami Zayn, but Sami Zayn was a reason the crowd was a highlight of the match, Alex.
Yes, he was doing. I don't know if I could have been able to stand for him doing the outside of the ring commentary through the entire match, but they could have let me have 3 more minutes of it. Like, I mean, it was like intermittently hilarious. And I just thought, like, I did notice that the first time he did that, there was a lot of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And tonight I caught a lot of, oh goodness, oh goodness, oh goodness. So I thought maybe somebody told him to lay off the oh my gods. But I did like that a lot. Yeah, it's babyface Miz is stupid. You know, like, it's one of those things that like he's a guy who should take a page out of Bayley's book and recognize all the stupid baby faces that he got over on when he was a heel always lost because they got distracted. So he should have a natural immunity to that. He'd be like, no. I'm not falling for all the same crap everybody fell for when I beat them when I was a heel. I'm going to be smarter than that, because The Miz should be a smart wrestler. He should be.
It's the thing is, like, I haven't lost hope for The Miz, even though he's cooled off to an icy degree. Because we have seen him get hot like 3 or 4 times in his career. Just like he goes away and or is almost irrelevant, and he comes back and he is just red hot. Also, speaking of Bayley, we were reminded it was a shot to the turnbuckle, but then a flying elbow drop that won her the title.
Yes.
Raw Women's Championship, Sasha Banks defeated Becky Lynch via DQ. Whoo, boy. This was a fun angle. Now, let's go through the match. Considering that I watched that Sasha Banks Chronicle and we saw like that drop kick to the back that hurt Paige, and we know what's happened with some of those in the past, I still feel weird about those. Even seeing like a baseball slide drop kick to the upper back, lower neck, I'm like, let's not do that. But these two had a good match. Becky catches Sasha coming off the top rope with a big drop kick. And then Sasha applies the bank statement, but it's turned into a Beck-sploder. Sasha hits one of my favorite meteors ever, Alex. Really high, drives Becky into the ground. Becky's shoulders are on the mat, underneath Sasha's shins. Sasha can reach back, grab the calves, grab the heels, get that deep pin in. Hard, legitimately hard for Becky Lynch to kick out as a guy who just loves amateur wrestling and loves a good deep pin. This one was a good one. What'd you think of the offense we saw early on in this match?
I thought it was really great. This is the story that they've been told is these two want to murder each other now. So yes, the offense should be hard hitting, and it was. I liked that a lot. You're right. The Meteora, that was excellent. This was a really cool, hot, fun angle, especially after we saw Bayley defeat Charlotte in that way. He was like, all of a sudden, there's it feels like there's more stakes. Like if Sasha can come out of this match with the Raw title and Bayley's got the SmackDown title, now what? Heading into the draft in a month. Like there's a lot of cool stakes to this match, considering the context of what happened earlier in the night. I thought that kind of added a lot to this.
The disarm her is applied, and Sasha makes it to the ropes, then hits the backstabber and bank statement in the middle of the ring. A pin is attempted by Becky, but no dice. Sasha uses a chair to set up a Shining Wizard. Now, she does the old Eddie Guerrero trick, or one of them. Throws one in there, grabs another, uses it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after that doesn't win, she grabs the chair and tries to use it again, which doesn't make any sense.
No.
And they needed to make sense of this.
Yeah.
They needed to make sense of this. And instead, they left a big plot hole here. Why would Sasha, after sitting out for as long as she did to get this match, use a chair and just piss away that chance? Like, it's not even explained. Hopefully it is tomorrow, but Becky takes it from her, hits the ref. Now, that makes a lot of sense. Why wouldn't Becky? Becky doesn't give a shit.
Right.
The ref got hit in the arm, the upper arm, and was knocked out for the rest of the match.
Out cold.
Lame.
Yep. Yeah.
Only part of the match I had an issue with was this chair situation, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, it was I did love Becky's look to Sasha, and Sasha's look back to Becky of like, whoa, hey, there's, I mean, you already hit the referee. I mean, when he comes to, you're gonna be disqualified. Can't we just shake hands and do this again next month?
Sure.
Because we all know that's what's gonna happen anyway. But I love that was a little bit of that to Sasha's look at Becky, and Becky's like, nah, I think I'm gonna hit you with this chair a bunch. And that's cool. All this stuff where they went up into the crowd and on the concourse and everything was all fun, but ultimately, okay, because though the match didn't end with the chair shot to the ref, it kind of did, because that was what she got disqualified for like 10 minutes later. So all that stuff that happened in between was fun to watch, but ultimately inconsequential to the actual match itself. Although it was a blast to watch.
Yeah, they ended up brawling all over the place. A disarmer in the railing of the stairs. One of my favorite parts is after they brawled in the concourse, Becky gets to a very familiar spot of the arena and does like the pose from when she had her neck broken or her nose broken. Yeah. I thought that was a great callback. They go into the ring and Becky applies a disarmer into a chair after wearing her out. We're told this is a DQ. I like this. Becky Lynch should be hard, if not impossible, to beat. She is maybe the biggest star in the company, arguably with Roman Reigns up there.
Yep.
She should be really, really, really hard to beat. She should look really strong. She shouldn't always work from underneath, because it won't always work for her, Alex. She did that already. That's what got her over. To stay over, she doesn't need it anymore. What'd you think of how this all ended up?
I mean, again, this was one of those things where we kind of figured at least one of these matches is going to be run right back again next month, because especially we got Hell in a Cell. Like, that's the feud ender, and therefore we need an extender to happen here. I thought this was a pretty great extender. Also, Blue Chew is a pretty great extender. But this was fun. I honestly, I love the backstabber and the railing up on the way up there, and then
that was great too.
The disarmer in the chair was really, really cool looking. All that stuff was really great. I also just loved Becky sauntering up the ramp as she's like being like, the winner of this match by disqualification is Sasha Banks, after Becky hit a referee with a chair, and the whole time Becky's like this, haha, it doesn't matter. I was like, but your winner, and still champion. She perfect on cue hits the pose, knowing that was coming at the end of the whole stuff about how she lost the match. She still gets to keep her championship, and that's what's important to Becky.
And you can run a no DQ next month because Sasha tapped out, though it wasn't a tap out.
Yep.
I was ready to tap out on this show after this because Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton lasted way longer than it needed to be. I thought this was boring and plodding, and if you missed the first 5 minutes of this match, you didn't miss anything. If you missed another 5 in the middle, you didn't miss anything. The match didn't have any heat outside of a few places. Kofi hit a nice forearm. Orton hit a nice front suplex on the barricade. The sing bombs were good. The Trouble in Paradise counter into the backbreaker was good, but the pace should have been picked up much earlier, or they should have. How about this? You just cut 8 minutes from it because we didn't need that. I feel like maybe WWE thought this was going to be like some epic victory for Kofi Kingston and help define his title reign. And you know what? Beating Randy Orton does, but a fast-paced, emotional match after Kofi Kingston's family was brought into it would have done it more. They locked up. They locked up, and that's always the thing. Whoever timed and set up this match, not great. The finish, however, I thought was great. RKO, foot in the ropes. Orton teases a punt, misses it, and gets troubled in paradise. But this was not the jam for me, Alex.
No, it's too long. It's plotting. It feels like a WWE main event from 10 years ago.
How ironic it was.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's like these guys would have had this if you had done this feud 10 years ago when it was hot and you did the swing would have cooled it off as well. I mean, I don't know.
Both men are better than this, and we've seen that.
Yes, that's true. We have, and I did kind of think this was a really hot thing. I was shocked and also kind of chagrined that there was no revival run-in, right? Yeah. Like, I didn't miss that when I went to the bathroom during the plotting part of the match. Like, I thought they were going to, because they said, okay, Xavier, you're out. You can't do anything. You can't walk. Yes. So Revival comes out. Big E tries to help and get rid of the Revival. Revival get one over on Big E. And now Kofi Kingston is basically 1-on-3. Like, I thought that was how you get to a point where I mean, not that I want this, but I feel like where you extend this thing to Hell in a Cell, because that's your feud ender.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how you build a different, out of something else. Somebody else comes out of the picture. A new challenger has appeared. I don't feel like you can do that in the amount of time between now and Hell in a Cell, especially if you're going to put Kofi in the cell. But you may not, who knows. But it feels like there's such a very short turnaround between now and Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell is like the 9th, isn't it? It's like, it's a really early Hell in a Cell. So like, that's like 3 weeks. I don't know how you build that new challenger. And there's no reason Randy should have another match. He lost clean.
Yep, I agree.
He hit his finisher. He hit his finisher. Kofi got his foot on the ropes. He went to do the punt. He missed. He got hit with Kofi's finisher, and he lost clean in the middle of the ring. Randy doesn't get another match.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know who else you build up in 3 weeks, but we'll see.
Street Profits are backstage running down things. Booker T, King Booker shows up. They have a cute little segment. Sure. Rowan defeated Roman Reigns in a no DQ match. This one also went way too long.
Yeah.
Rowan loves his stairs, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I love that. That is, somebody tweeted to me that's one of the most consistent things in WWE. I like that.
It's true.
Rowan does have some nice offense. Face first slam, sit out Uranagi, back elbow off the second rope. Reigns does a Samoan drop and a Superman punch into some stairs. The pace was not good here either. There was a good powerbomb from Rowan through the table. Then we go to Superman punches on the ramp, and that is about legitimately 15 minutes of the 17-minute match that I just went through. It did not need to be that long.
No.
If you cut 8 minutes from Orton and Kofi, it's way better. You cut 7 from this, it's way better. And you cut it from both of them, and the show is better. The
Yeah.
show is way better.
Yeah.
People do not... I've never seen somebody tune in and say, you know what? I like all this selling in this no DQ match outside in the crowd. Maybe I mean you'll have people that bitch online about it, sure.
Yeah.
But here's the story, Alex. Luke Harper's back.
That is the story. That's the story. Very recently, after reports of like, nah, he's not coming back ever. His thing runs out April next year. Vince doesn't want to use him. They're paying him to sit at home. Which I don't know
I
who
was
said.
straight up told by somebody close to the situation. I don't know what the hell was going on, but whatever Vince's issue with Luke Harper, he made his mind up a long time ago that he didn't want to like him.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm happy he's back. That's the big thing. The match, as you said, too long. I think they get caught up in the thing of it's a no DQ match, which means it's gotta be brutal, and they guys gotta use the stairs and a chair, and there's moves done on tables, and it's like, okay, that's all great, but you could speed it up a little bit. You know, you could take out all the pauses and the air in between that stuff. Whatever. I'm happy that Luke Harper is back. In kayfabe, dude, what took you so long? I understand they were keeping him off TV because of whatever, but like, it would have been really cool to see like Harper and Rowan together backing up Daniel Bryan during that whole run. That would have been a lot of fun. Now I love, though, that I do love genuinely that Rowan is getting over on his own. And he's saying, I'm doing this. I'm going to beat up Roman. Screw you, Daniel Bryan. I don't need you. But the one guy who's always had my back, the one man I trust, is Luke Harper. And I'm going to call him. I'm going to say, Luke, I need you to have my back. At I don't know if they're going to do this thing where like...
Where's his twin?
Yeah, that's been retconned out of existence, as you can tell by the highlight reel that they played, the little video package before the match. That guy's never mentioned. Even the moment where Daniel Bryan slapped the crap out of Rowan, that wasn't played in their little recap of everything. So they retconned major points of this story that have said they didn't happen. Like they did the little Men in Black flashy thing in your eyes.
Daniel Bryan was backstage, by the way. I had like some concerns when I saw he hadn't wrestled since August, and I was told he was there. He's all right, so that's good. That's good.
But yeah, welcome back, Mr. Harper. The crowd gave you a welcome back. This is one of those things where they're gonna do as. I'm worried they're gonna have him on SmackDown on Tuesday. Come out and do a "You People" promo because people were cheering for him too loud. They were doing the welcome back thing to him, and they want him to be a heel. So now he's going to have a "You People" promo, and I don't want that. Nobody wants that. So I'm happy he's back. I missed him. Like his last match I saw him do was that banger with Donovan Dijak from the last Worlds Collide, and I was like, holy hell, Luke Harper's never looked so good.
Yeah.
And like that, gone for 4 months. I'm so happy he's back. I've missed him.
Well, Rowan wins with a claw slam, so that happened. Sure. Yep. Okay. I'm okay with that. It makes sense considering that Harper came out. Sure. WWE Universal Championship. Seth Rollins defeated Braun Strowman.
Yep.
With no edge whatsoever. Just Seth Rollins' character. He hit 2 big super kicks and a frog splash for a 0 count. No pop. That bothered me. No reaction for a 0 count. Yikes. Strowman catches Seth with a choke slam and another slam, mows him down repeatedly. Seth goes for some suicide dives and a table just evaporates.
Yeah.
Ugh, that was rough.
Yeah.
Back inside the ring, though, Strowman lands a flying splash. I mean, the Usos ain't using it right now, so might as well. That was incredible to see.
It was.
The thing is, if Braun had started out in the 80s, he would have never had to evolve past 2015 Braun.
Nope.
He would have had his little run with Hogan for a few months.
Yep.
And then he would have been put in a tag team with the Barbarian or the Warlord or something, and that would have been that. He would have had a brief run in WCW as a jobber, and that would have been it. He would have never had to have evolved. But he has evolved, and he's very good. Rollins applies a sleeper and hits a curb stomp, but Braun's out at 1. Another hits, he's up at 2. A third hits, 2.5. Then Rollins has to dig deep, pull out a pedigree, do another stomp, and gets the win. What did you think here? Braun does not take many of these clean losses. He took one here tonight.
I know they're going to say, yeah, but look what it took to put him away.
Sure.
And that's a part of it. But if you're just going to have The Fiend come out and challenge Seth Rollins, you could have The Fiend come out as Braun is there, like, after kicking out at 2.5 after the stomp, or the fourth stomp or whatever. And Seth's like, I don't know what I'm going to do to put this guy away. You can have The Fiend come out then, and that way Braun doesn't take the loss, and Seth's still the champ, and that way Braun has a problem with The Fiend. Like, there's other things.
Are you doing another DQ there right after you had a screw job in the Rowan?
That's a problem, is because everything gets.
Because I mean, here's the thing: you had
Bayley.
Bayley.
The context, it's different.
Bayley cheating to win in the top women's title. Becky and Sasha DQ. Then you had Rowan and Roman.
In that case, there would be too many. There would be too many DQs.
Yeah.
But if you're going to figure out a way, like, the whole point is not to protect Braun Strowman, and they would say we did protect him. Look how many finishers it took to beat him. Everybody loses to one stomp. It's a really protected finisher. It took 4 and a pedigree to put away the monster. Okay, great. At the same time, you almost definitely missed your window with Braun Strowman. Like, the window was wide open. The window was a door. The window was a wall missing. The window was just like a house with 3 walls. And the fourth wall that doesn't exist, that was the window you had for Braun. When he was feuding with Roman Reigns, like, that guy had, like, absolute super duper star written all over him. And the window started closing and closing and closing. He lost to 1 F5. That window closed a lot. Like, at this point, like, I feel like he's an attraction and probably a future multi-time tag champion who never has the same partner twice as a tag champion.
Justin Lopez says Braun is now the guy who can't win the big one. Yeah, you could say that, but
you certainly can say that.
But there are lots of guys that can't win the big one in WWE.
Right, that's true. The other thing, like the one I totally forgot about, was the one where they had it all set up. Roman has to go away to get leukemia treatment, and that triple threat was at Saturday was supposed to be Brock versus Roman versus Braun, and then it was just Brock versus Braun, and we were like, oh, perfect. Now you can put the title on Braun. Let him hold it. Let Brock, like, whatever. You could do a lot of stuff with it.
Seth could have won this at WrestleMania against Braun.
Right. He could have absolutely done that. He could have done whatever they want. Instead, they had Braun get hit with a chair, like, by Baron Corbin, and then lose to 1 F5 immediately to Brock. Like that really hurt whatever they were doing. And they built him back up. They made him this monster again. And they think that no matter what we do to him, we'll be able to build him back up again. And I'm thinking, you got like 2 or 3 more of those before everyone says, sorry, he's just a big doof who can't win anything.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose faith in him. That guy's, he's doing Uso splashes at 385 pounds. Like, he's going to hurt himself if he's going to keep on doing crazy stuff like this. He signed for this long extension. Don't waste those 4 years he signed for.
And he let it get down to the wire, like a month left.
Yeah, that's true.
Bray Wyatt comes out as the Fiend at the top of the ramp.
Yep.
There's a great image of him holding Seth Rollins.
Yep.
I wonder what he did to incapacitate Rollins to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that he just,
He hit Sister Abigail, then has Seth Rollins' head.
Yeah, it looks like his lantern. It's just so cool.
It was very
amazing.
Cool. Applies the mandible claw. This was a lasting image. This was a great image. Yeah. Seth Rollins, like, dead selling it was amazing. Yeah. Bray Wyatt holding him there was great.
Screaming, like just howling as he was doing it to him. That was freakish.
Seth Rollins is great at that kind of selling. He's really good at almost the Flair kind of selling. I would always say, you know how you could tell that Charlotte was Rick's kid, and she would go, "Oh God!"
Yeah, no, like it's not only was Seth vocally selling, having the mandible claw done to him, but Bray was yelling while doing it to Seth, which is freakish. Like, it's really cool. And he stands there. He's got the hurt thing like over there. I still want to know what happens when he listens to the heel hand, because there's an option there for something really cool. Now, all of this is amazing. This was such a cool moment. Like, what an amazing way to go out. This will be a lasting image for The Fiend as a character, and even for Seth Rollins. It's going to be the way everyone remembers Clash of the Champions. 2019 will be for this moment. And yet, I can't help but think maybe they're banking everything on the short term with The Fiend and trying to get that money right now instead of pushing this off and doing something down the line. When you put The Fiend in a match versus the Universal Champion at Hell in a Cell, inside Hell in a Cell, almost certainly, the Fiend can't lose. He can't. He's not allowed to. You can't do that to him. And you've protected Seth Rollins so much. So Seth doesn't lose. He would have to lose this match. And then, what is the WWE with The Fiend as your Universal Champion? Like, how does he go about accepting challenges? Like, there's a whole thing like that. If I had a lot of confidence in the writing staff and the people signing off on that writing staff's stuff, there's a whole world of possibilities out there for a WWE that has The Fiend as its top guy. I do not trust this writing staff, and I certainly don't trust who's signing off on whatever they come up with to do The Fiend as champ right. I'm so willing to be proven wrong, but I am just very apprehensive that all of this might screw everything up with Bray, and I think we really have a chance, still as of this moment, to have Bray be a top 5 character. The Fiend as a top 5 character in WWE history. There's so much thing there.
They've had the opportunity several times, and they've dropped the ball with Bray several times. And
that's why I don't trust them now.
Well, of course. But, I mean, we can't always just go that route. But
sure.
Bray had several different characters that could have been massively over.
Yeah.
Kurosami 1997 says Becky and Sasha's Hell in a Cell main event. I think it could be, but I think The Fiend is...
If The Fiend is, you're definitely your Hell in a Cell.
The Fiend is main eventing that. Yeah. Well, I hope we were your main event tonight. Leave a thumbs up on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe. Check out Fightful.com, most importantly. But hey, if you want to support us directly, FightfulSelect.com. Always great shows there. Always great exclusive info there. Early access. Go over there. Poke around. There's probably something you're going to like. FightfulSelect.com. If you want to make Jimmy Van real happy, subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. Alex will be back on Tuesday this week.
Yes.
And Wednesday. So your back-to-backs aren't over, Alex.
No, not for now. Yes. Yeah, they're not. They're much to my wife's chagrin. But
yes.
I will say, all of you out there who will miss me on Mondays, I will miss you too. But you are in very good hands with Denise.
Yes.
And I will say that it has been a bit of a sausage fest since Anna Bauer left the recap shows.
Yes.
And I'm very happy we're getting a woman's point of view back on the show. That honestly, unironically and not sarcastically, is a really cool thing that Fightful is doing, and I commend you, Sean, and everybody else who made that decision. I think she's going to be great.
I think that type of thing is important. Like, when I started this, when I helped start Fightful, I was like, okay, I've been in the ring. I can lend a little bit of experience there, and I cover things from a media perspective. And I was like, okay, what I want is something that I don't have experience in. People with, like, comedy, even though I am quite frankly, fucking hilarious. Comedy experience, acting experience, stage experience. So I had you, Jeff, Anna on. Had Trina on, who held a women's point of view. We've had LaToya Ferguson on. We've, quite frankly, we've more than any wrestling website of our size. We've had more women on, and
yes,
our mod team is made up 70% women. So we need that point of view as women's wrestling expands. So you guys are going to really dig it. And hey, subscribe to Fightful Select and you'll get Sour Graps, which I'm excited to add to that lineup as well. Guys, thank you all so much. Thank you to our news team, Robert, Jeremy, Carlos, for taking care of the news this weekend. Until next time, guys, we're out.